Early Steps is a research-based intervention for at-risk beginning readers. It can be conducted in a one-on-one tutorial format, with pairs, or with small groups of 3 or 4 students. The individual components in an Early Steps lesson, for example, word study or repeated reading, can also be implemented as effective Tier 1 instruction for kindergarten and first grade classrooms. Early Steps is most appropriate for any at-risk beginning reader who can recognize and name at least 16 lowercase letters. Each lesson lasts for 30 minutes and is packed with the specific activities that at-risk beginners need to become successful. The content of an Early Steps lesson changes over time to reflect the changes that beginning readers go through as they gain control over print. This developmental approach continually targets the student's instructional level in both text and word study. To be more specific, instructional level is the level at which a student can be successful with just a small amount of help from an educator. A word of warning: Early Steps looks deceptively easy. What could be difficult about teaching a child to point to words or to attend to the first phoneme in pictures? Be advised that it takes most educators a good deal of practice with feedback to become effective and efficient at delivering Early Steps. You'll need to develop pacing that is brisk and engaging to recruit and retain students' interest. At the same time, you'll need to learn to limit the amount of teacher talk that you engage in. The more you talk, the less the child does, and the child needs to spend the vast majority of the lesson reading and writing. Sometimes it's difficult to discern when to let the child struggle a bit and when to jump in and offer support. And just when you feel like you've become skilled at delivering one aspect of Early Steps, the child is ready to move on, which means that you need to change your instructional moves. However, over time, as you do dozens of lessons, and if you take full advantage of the mentoring we offer you, you will improve. In fact, not only will you be able to deliver an effective intervention model, but you will also have a much more sophisticated understanding of both the big picture and the nuances of early reading development. That knowledge will help you be a better reading teacher for all of the beginning readers you work with. This DVD contains 3 complete Early Steps lessons with 3 different students who exemplify 3 different levels of early reading development. Each lesson is divided into chapters that correspond to the individual components in the Early Steps lesson plan. You can use the chapter headings to focus on particular aspects of the lesson that you want to study in detail. In Lesson 1, you'll see me work with Misael, a newcomer English language learner who had just exited kindergarten and was enrolled in one of our summer programs. When we were filmed, Misael was on his 3rd Early Steps lesson and was working in Level 2 text. In word study, he was in picture sorts. These abilities suggest that Misael was working in the partial alphabetic phase of reading development. More specifically, Misael had control over beginning letter sounds, but was not yet able to blend them with medial and ending letter sounds. He was also just beginning to develop concept of word, the ability to match his voice to the print while pointing. In Lesson 2, you'll see Grace work with another end-of-year kindergartner who was also just beginning Early Steps. Chris's first language was also Spanish, but he had been in the country longer than Misael and had already established a good foundation of oral language in English. When we filmed, Chris was a strong Level 3 reader and was ripping through picture sorts in word study. As we might expect, Chris had a strong concept of word and was able to manipulate beginning and ending letter sounds in words. This means that Chris had become a strong partial alphabetic reader who was moving into the full alphabetic phase of reading development. In the full alphabetic phase, Chris will develop the ability to blend across small, phonetically regular words and generate a pronunciation, an important step toward building word automaticity. In the 3rd lesson on this DVD, you'll meet Gabby. At the time of the filming, Gabby was just exiting kindergarten and was reading at text level 7. She was just about to transition from one-dot words also known as rhyming short vowels, to two-dot words, mixed non-rhyming short vowels, an important advance in word study. With these abilities in mind, it is clear that Gabby is a strong, full alphabetic reader. She can successfully blend across words that contain any short vowel, even those that contain blends and digraphs. You might ask, how could a kindergartner like Gabby be considered at risk when she handles text and words like a December first grader? Well, Gabby isn't at risk. In fact, at this point, she's well above grade level. Her early testing showed some potential risk factors, so her kindergarten teacher implemented early steps as a preventative measure. As you can see, it worked. Gabby will enter first grade with strong reading skills and confidence.